To live stream.
Oh, I think it's worked.
Are we live? Is
Well,
it?
it says,
It
yeah, it
says
says
it
it's
says for
live.
me it's setting up for YouTube Live.
Oh, it says on
Done. There we
there.
go. Okay. Excellent. All right. Sounds like we're in.
I think we
All
are.
right. Welcome everybody. We are normally, by the way, we do these system Saturdays on Facebook, but the Zuck is mad at me. I
Mm.
just so you guys know, somebody had a comment. They said, I got a LinkedIn thread that went semi-viral. What should I do? Like, I should sell something in the comments. And I said, sell drugs because I'm hilarious. But Zuck's algorithm banned me from Facebook. So here we are over on the YouTube. And for those of you guys who on YouTube haven't seen this, you guys are in for a treat because Jess Cotter is the systems queen. And this is really like systems are probably something that if you're new to this, you haven't really heard about. But this is all the everything that happens after a client gives you money. And if you really want to scale the business, you have to have a repeatable system that you believe in that doesn't require you to push all the buttons. And when you have
Mhm.
that, uh, I've never not seen anybody make a lot more money, not just a little bit more money, a lot more money. And she helps people to do that. So you guys are in for a real treat. Just we were talking a little bit off air. Delegation. Everybody gets this wrong, and they think you delegate all tasks the same way. And as we mentioned, a lot of people think delegation is just like, here, Jess, go do it, and
Yeah.
not really giving you any instructions or expectations or a clear outcome. And then I see people who are perpetually disappointed and think, everybody from the Philippines is bad. Everybody from India, nobody has any good work ethic, and they don't realize it's actually the way they're delegating. So I wonder if you could kind of like you've been seeing a lot of that this week. Let's start there.
Yeah, 100% because people will automatically assume that a team member is bad. But when you look at the reality of it, it's because you haven't delegated the tasks correctly. And the perfect example of these, like the one that I see it happen with most commonly, are like creative based tasks, where you haven't actually given someone a brief and you haven't even given them what a definition of success looks like for that task or project. So you're telling them, hey, go create this website mockup for me. This is the client's existing website. I want these 5 pages. Okay, well, do they like their current website? Do they have
Yeah.
examples of other websites they like? Do you have a new theme they're looking for? Am I meant to be building it on the same hosting platform? What
Yeah, yeah.
what am I doing with it? Um, and
Can
then
I
they
just
will
say, by the way, anybody who's ever gotten hired as a web designer and the client says, make me something nice without any other context, those clients never end up happy ever.
no. And it's people will say like I had the exact example of someone was like, oh well, the developer's rubbish. I need to find another one ASAP. Well, and I said, right, okay, well, hand me over, show me what you gave them. Like, let's look at the brief that you gave them. And there was no brief.
Yeah.
And it's going, well, how we can't have expected him to succeed because I couldn't tell you what a good site was going to look like for that client. I'm not a developer, don't get me wrong, but like, I don't know, did that client want to have the same color scheme? What elements of their website did they not like? What were they looking for the refresh on? What other websites did they like the look of? So we had a bit of an idea. All of these things that tie in and it comes down to the delegation of the task because this person wasn't set up for success, so of course they weren't going to succeed. Like
Yeah.
people aren't mind readers. People think, oh no, I tell you what, it's fine, they've got the skill set. Or I interviewed them well, they'll be fine. Yeah, but you still have to hand the tasks off correctly. There's no good just saying, ah yeah, it'll work out one way or another. Let's hope for the best on this. And then wondering, why has this gone so wrong? What's happened here? Well, what's happened here is you didn't hand the task off correctly. And it's people then will like if you look out there, most people will go, and I saw people commenting this on one of my Facebook posts earlier, actually. They were having a bit of an argument in the comments. Um, but they were saying, right, okay, well, I don't need to hire a VA, I need to hire an EA. I need to hire an executive assistant. I don't need a virtual assistant. And it was, well, okay, but even if you're hiring an assistant, if you don't give them the systems they need to know what you want out of their role and hand them over correctly, you're still probably not going to see much success out of them. Whether it's a virtual assistant, whether it's an executive assistant. Yes, an executive assistant in theory has more skill set. They
Yeah.
are paid more, they're in theory more experienced, but you could meet the most experienced person in the world and they might not do something the same way as you do it. and they don't understand it unless it's delegated correctly.
Yeah, it kind of like I think of like a restaurant where they have no pictures of the food, they
Yeah,
have no recipes, and then they say, Jess, go make me a Sunday roast. And then you go, well, it's not supposed to have broccoli. And you overcook this and you use the wrong seasoning. And it's like, well, if you
I do.
want it done with this seasoning, why don't you give me like a detailed recipe? And all restaurants that are successful at scale, by the way, everything is a documented recipe. Like I spent, not that it's the greatest restaurant, but my first ever like real job, um, I worked at Red Lobster and everything's got a fucking recipe and it's standardized and they weigh out the portions and you use exactly the same amount of seasoning every time. It's standardized so that,
Yeah,
anybody can walk in and follow the recipe and recreate it. It doesn't depend on like make me a nice shrimp dinner and then you're all disappointed because the guy, you used too many shrimp or
yeah,
you overcooked them and all those kind of details. And we don't realize this and I just want to say, like, because I'm sure you've experienced this as well. Often people start drawing false conclusions about the people they're hiring.
yeah.
So I hear things like nobody from the Philippines is any good. Oh, you can't delegate this and that. And almost always it's like, did you give them a recipe? Did you give them a picture of the finished thing? Did you walk them through the training of how we do
Yeah.
things around here? Or did you just say, like, go make it and hope it works out, which is usually the case. And a lot of times, like, I understand it because, you've been there too. By the way, for those of you guys who don't know, Jess, like, built and sold her own agency. Like, this is not theory that she's talking about. Um, but like a lot of times by the time you're hiring people, you're so overwhelmed and so busy and have so much shit that like you don't even really feel like you have time to explain it to people. But almost always by not giving them those details, you double and triple and quadruple the amount of work you're going to get later. And you almost guarantee that you're going to have to rehire somebody and do it again and go through all the bullshit, a bunch of times. I wonder if you could kind of just share your own a little bit of experience with that. And then maybe after we can get into a little bit of the templates and tools that you've
Yeah,
created for people.
100%. And it's like I look at my first agency that I built, and I started that back at the end of 2018. And I look at my first ever hire, and no wonder they did not succeed. Like I set that poor person up for failure. And I
Yeah.
look back now, but no one, especially if you've never been in like a managerial role or anything like that, you don't know how to hand off a task correctly. Like it's, oh cool, everyone online told me I needed a VA. Awesome. Hey, go do this stuff for me. That she had no idea what she was doing. I had no idea what she was doing. It was there's all these components that exactly what happens in so many businesses now. You're just expecting to hire someone and for them magically to take everything off your plate. Yeah, 100% they can take stuff off your plate, but it's not going to happen magically and it's not going to happen instantly.
Yeah.
It's the steps that it actually takes to happen. And like a lot of people have never heard of the delegation ladder, have they?
I haven't, but I'm probably using it. But like,
Yeah,
please
well,
enlighten me.
the delegation ladder doesn't have to be like super complex or anything like that, but delegation doesn't just happen at one level for every single role in your business. You've got five different levels of delegation. Now, your first level of delegation is for like tech-based roles in regards to there's like a really clear SOP on it. Maybe the task is new, there's a new person, but your level one is do exactly this in regards to you do every single step in here this exact way and you will succeed. This is the definition of success. Perfect. Then you've got another one, which is more of a, or your second level, sorry, which is your follow this process. In regards to, they have the competence and they can follow a standard SOP, but they don't need that hand holding that they will have had a bit more in level one.
Yeah.
Then you've got your level three, and this is how kind of like your team members build on this, which is you have to achieve that outcome. So they know what good looks like, but now they're choosing how to get there. So yes, there's a framework around it, but like the perfect example of this is like in client success. You've got a framework of what client success looks like and what you should be doing for it, but they have to achieve an outcome and it can be variable in different ways. But that's your level three. And then you've got your level four, which is right, solve this problem. I'm going to present you with a problem, go solve it for me. And that's where they're there to diagnose what the problem is. They're also there to propose. And then it's up to you on whether you want them to execute that or not. And then your
Yeah.
top level, your level five, is you own this entire area. You own this. I give you full responsibility. I trust you fully. You're going to go do this. And too many people will skip straight to level four or five for someone that needs to be at level one because they've never worked with you before, or they've never done this task before, or they're not too sure on how you like it done. But
Yeah.
there's actually five stages of delegation, which people get really confused about. It's
Yeah.
this moment where they're like, "Ooh, right, okay, I'm actually not too sure about that." And then you're setting them up for success because you've delegated it in the wrong way.
Yeah, I would also add that it depends a lot, like at least like I'm talking for me personally, not for everybody, on the role you're hiring.
100%.
So so if I
People
have
are
somebody
falling
that's
to a
doing
different
what I
level.
call like the million harebrained schemes that I have, all the
Yeah,
odds and ends, I expect to have like processes and what I would call like
exactly.
digital recipes, SOPs as they're known. But I have instructions for everything. There are some things where I hire right out of the box and I just give you the outcome. So, like video editing is an example of that. Like, if
Yeah,
I hire you as a video editor, I assume you know how to edit videos. So, there's no training provided. There are no, here's use this tool. There's no walking through the software, but I do give you clear examples of these are the kind of videos I want to make. Let's create these. And so you know what we're aiming for as a finished product, but not necessarily like, I don't walk you through the hand holding of how to edit a
yes, because
video. And then sales tasks can often be like if you're bringing in like a top whiz bang salesperson, like you said, it's just like you own this. Go make
yeah,
some fucking sales. I don't care how you do it, right? If you gotta be like a caveman, go out of there and club somebody over the head and drag him back to the cave, then you go fucking
exactly.
do that. But you own this outcome. And often those are for higher level roles. And to your point, usually the first level roles are roles that need more hand holding, more instructions. Um, Especially because often you have a million things in your head. And I know everybody thinks, oh, this will slow me down. It's better, easier, faster to do it myself. It's only, uh, it only get done right if I do it. But the
Yeah,
reality is, do you want to go fast today or do you want to go far in the business? And I've seen you do this like as a literal miracle worker for
yeah,
for quite a few agencies where they're stuck at 15, 20, 30, 35, 50K a month or whatever. And it becomes this invisible barrier. And they don't realize it's because the owner is involved in everything and they're their own
yeah.
bottleneck. And when you start to take them out of that, all of a sudden they can do the one thing that moves the needle, like sales or running more ads or, sending more outreach if that's what they do. And often they can actually be better at sales because they're actually more confident that clients are going to get the result because there's a system in place. Like when you go to McDonald's, which is like I think the most world-class company at systems. They're not like the best burgers, but nobody would deny their systems aren't fucking like airtight. You can go to McDonald's. I've been to Beijing, fucking China, and you can get a Big Mac in Beijing, China,
Yeah.
and you can know with certainty exactly what you're going to get. Um, and it's just like that's just how it is. Like that's how it fucking works because they have world-class systems to do it. So when you're in your own company, and usually most of you guys are like the sales, face of the company, the more you have systems and the more like when person orders a Big Mac, like it's clear what they're gonna get. You're actually a more confident salesperson because you don't look at that client as like maybe this person will be pissed off and hate me in 3 months. You go, no, 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 like we can definitely get you a Big Mac. Like I believe that statement to be true. I wonder, Jess, if we could show like a little bit of some of the templates and stuff you've created for people.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. I was going to say, well, the best one is kind of like if you have a look at this, let me share my screen with all my millions of tabs from today. But like,
Millions of tabs. None of us here can relate to that.
I know no one
Actually,
else.
that's nothing. You got less than 20 there. That's not even chaotic. And you
Um,
only got one browser, so like, yeah.
and I think if you tap on Google Chrome, there's like four that pops up. Um, but yeah, it's looking like this here is kind of like a delegation playbook that I've created for people that I work with. But it's like here it showcases the real purpose of delegation is not about telling people what to do, and it's not about just dumping tasks on people. It's about creating that capacity. It's the skill transfer, it's the ownership development. Because so many people end up with team members and they end up with a really good team of button pushers, but they never end up with a good team of owners. And to
Yeah.
be able to scale, you actually need owners in your team. Not every single team member has to be an owner. Your button pushers definitely have solid positions in a business as well. But if you don't have that ownership development on how you can get someone to own a process, and that is taking them through the delegation ladder, you're never going to have a delegation system that actually works. And it's like here, delegation fails in agencies because before you're trying to fix your team, you have to fix the actual system. Now, you always look at things, and I know, Frankie, you've said this before, always look at things as, is this a people problem or is it a systems problem? And always look at
Yeah.
those systems first.
Can
Because
I can
I'd
I
say
just say that on that, like I think 19 times out of 20, it's actually a systems problem when
it
people
is.
think it's a people problem.
Yeah,
Like people
100%.
problems are Jenny don't show up to work, she's drunk again today. It's very rarely people problems. If they're not like producing work like you want and you feel like nobody else has the quality, you got a systems problem. You don't have a people problem. It's not because your people
Exactly.
don't care, it's because they don't know what they're supposed to do and you haven't made it clear enough for them.
100%. And like there is kind of seven reasons why delegation fails in regards to there's zero clarity, there's no documented processes, you're over explaining rather than simply kind of handing something over. You can then under explain in regards to there was nothing given. And there's no feedback loop. But it's all of these different steps are what contributes to
Yeah.
delegation.
Can we just say on the feedback loop, like Jess, I know this must crack you up because I see it too. Is people go, my employee's been doing this task wrong for like 2 months and I need to fire him and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, have you ever told them? No, no, I never told
No,
them.
yeah,
It's like,
100%.
well, how do you
People
expect them to fix it, you know?
Yeah, exactly. People will like kind of hide behind problems and like shy away from actually talking about it. And it's like, no, be upfront, give someone the opportunity to succeed. Like, say, right, okay. And even if you're going back, because a lot of people will go back to someone and say, oh, this task was done wrong. Well, why was it done wrong? And if you're like, let's say, like a lot of the time when you're first starting out, you will have to go and fix maybe that thing that someone has done. But rather than you just going to fix it, explain to them why they did it wrong. Film some Loom videos while you're fixing it so they can see what they can do better next time.
Yeah.
Rather than just being like, oh, I'll just do it for them. Yeah, sure, you can do it for them at the start, but you also have to get to the point where you're showing them what to do as well, because otherwise you will always be doing it for them. You're
Yeah.
going to have someone that will always give you half done work. Half done work isn't any good. So it's looking at that and there's so many reasons why delegation fails, and it's people overcomplicate it. They think, right, okay, no, I'm really bad at hiring. Okay, you're actually really bad at hiring, or you're really bad at
Yeah,
delegation.
that's one of those like false sweeping assumptions, right?
Yeah,
Like I'm not good at this. And it's like, well,
exactly.
yeah,
But yeah, it's so many agencies lose good team members because of delegation.
yeah.
They lose valuable people because
I
they
can think
don't.
of somebody that we both know, the that fellow. Uh, he who complains to me once a week about how bad his team is and how nobody cares like he does and all those things and it's all systems problems that he has so he doesn't know it but he's one of the worst things you can do when you have systems problems is start forming beliefs. It's the people, I'm no good at this, all
Yeah,
those kind of things. It's a fucking learnable skill, just so you guys know. I wonder if we should talk just a little bit, Jess, because um, you help people to do this. In fact, you're one of the few people I know on earth that will not just like teach you how to, hey, you
hmm
need to build systems, right? Like that is useful, but you actually get into the trenches with agencies and help them build them. And I know just because I know a lot of your clients that I know we're not supposed to brag about average typical results, but I've never not seen anybody I know that worked with you and actually like really implemented what you said and like not at least double what they're doing. And
yeah,
more importantly is I actually think more important than the money is the time and sanity that you buy back
yeah,
because all the client meetings you suddenly don't have to do, all the results people are bitching about suddenly they're more predictable, so less people are bitching that it's not working and all of those pieces. And a lot of it is just like onboarding procedures and
yeah.
communication procedures and how you get access to accounts and training people and things like that. And you're a master at that. I wonder if we could just talk a little bit about what you do for folks.
Yeah, 100%. So when I kind of work with agencies, like you said, it's not just I'll coach you and hope for the best with this. We'll see what type or see what happens type of thing. It's very much get into the agency, evaluate what's happening, and kind of going through six different layers of it in regards to you generally need to simplify a lot of it. Then we're going into optimizing and systemizing it. Then we can get to that point of delegating and kind of building up your team. But it's going through these six different steps so we can actually remove you out of the day to day rather than me just saying, like, okay, you need to go build systems. Well, me and my team are here to help you build the systems, help you plug them into your operating system. Whether you're using ClickUp, whether you're using Asana, whether you're using Notion, but plugging them in and actually helping you with integrating them with your team and getting your team to utilize these new processes as well. Because you can have some really, really good systems documented, but they're no good if the team don't follow them. And that is a big part of what I do is not just coming in to create the systems, but help make sure that your team are adopting them as well.
Yeah.
Because that's where you're actually going to free up some time.
So let's talk about where folks can find out more about you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, find me on Facebook, and it's just Jess Cotter. LinkedIn, again, Jess Cotter. Nothing too
Yeah.
exciting.
You guys can also go to Simple Scalable Agency.
.com. Yep, simplescalableagency.com. That's another one where you can find me. But those are the main places where you can find me and see the cool stuff that I'm sending
Yeah.
out to people. But yeah, if there's ever any questions about systems or anything, just ask.
All
There's usually
right.
something I can give to you.
Okay. Appreciate you, Jess. We're going to hit end recording here.
So
Although I'm actually not really sure how to
I was gonna
close the
say,
Facebook Live.
how do we end it?
Yeah. How do we do that? I'm not really sure here.
Should we just leave soon?